should've bought you flowers. I can buy myself. I should've bought you flowers. I can buy myself flowers. And held your hand. And I can hold my own hand.
You said, what are you bringing to the table? Men are tired. I'm not bringing nothing to the table, baby. Sprinkle, sprinkle. If you want a woman to bring something to the table, go to IHOP. Go to the restaurant where you can tip her, baby. Sprinkle, sprinkle.
I just came to the realization why I'm single. Every guy that I'm like, oh yeah, he's attractive. Okay, this is not supposed to be offensive, but I see their wives and they just look like so like, I thought these men were like, you know, big, strong, tough girls.
And the rise of online dating and the rise of feminism has taught women that they are not to blame for any poor choices. Every poor choice is glamorized. So if you want to be a sex worker, it's great. If you want to post in bikini pictures online, it's fine. If you want to be with it, every poor choice is glamorized.
I want you to guess my body count. This is always like just funny to me. What do you think?
8.
8? I feel like once I say my body count, you're gonna be like, oh, multiply it by 10, multiply it by 5.
I haven't said a word like that.
Okay. Okay.
Let me make this very clear, because, you know, these people, they try to, like, you know, push a certain narrative. I stand for traditional feminism, the equal rights and opportunity in a society and in political systems and in jobs and stuff like that for women. I stand for that, for sure, right? There's a difference between that and modern day feminism, especially when it comes to relationships. Modern day feminism is pushing and telling women you don't need a man, that men shouldn't lead. Don't be a traditional woman. But he should still be a traditional man, though, you know? He still gotta pay for dates and take you out and treat you like a lady. But you don't gotta treat him like the man, right? He should accept you. You know, go have fun with as many men as you want. He should still accept you for you and love you for you. Go out there and dress how you want to dress. If you want to show the nip, show the nip. He should still treat you like a wife. This is absolutely bananas. It's absolutely delusional. And it's gonna keep women single for a very long time, bro. Until you wake up and realize, no, it don't work like that. Okay?
Hello everyone, if you're a new viewer, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. If this is your second, third, fourth time watching one of my videos and you are not yet subscribed, we already go together. Okay, make it official and hit that subscribe button. Today, I'm going to be talking about dating in the modern landscape and how feminism has kinda ruined it. Like 50%, 51?
55%.
Well, it's not like when feminism was first started, the founders intended for things to end up this way, but unintentionally it has.
You have stolen my dreams.
You know, the modern dating scene is treacherous. I'm so happy I'm not in it anymore. I never want to go back to the streets. And one tool that has been very helpful for me in my relationship is an app called Paired. Paired is an app that is great for all couples, no matter what stage they are at in their relationship. Whether you've been together for years and are looking to spice things up, or are just in the early stages of dating, Paired is a fun way for you and your partner to get to know each other on a more intimate level through quizzes, activities, and games. The app is very easy to use, and once you and your partner have linked your accounts, you will both have access to a huge library of content to choose from. And when I say huge, I mean huge. Every subject area of a relationship is touched on, such as finances, intimacy, conflict management, communication, relationship growth, fun, excitement, everything. The cool thing about Paired is that you and your partner don't have to be in the same room to complete the activities. They are done individually, and once you both complete a quiz, the app will compare your answers to your partner's answers. And I really enjoy doing the quizzes because it's interesting to see how I see myself versus how my partner sees me. Personally, I think I'm the cheapest one in the relationship. I love a discount. I love a sale. And when I did the quiz about penny pinching, he thought he was the cheapest person in the relationship. So I thought that was funny because we both think we are the cheapest ones in the relationship. And it also was able to open up a conversation about finances and spending. And the app also has a really cool timeline feature, so you and your partner can lock pictures and memories in a timeline just for the two of you. I really enjoy the app, and I think you will too. Click my link below to get a 7-day free trial and 25% off Paired Premium so you can maintain and deepen your connection with your partner. more. A special thanks to Paired for sponsoring this video. When I say feminism has ruined dating, let me be more specific. First wave feminism was necessary. It gave women the right to be legally recognized as persons, the right to own property, the right to vote, employment rights, all the good stuff that I think we can all agree that women should have, except Pearl.
Why women shouldn't vote? Yes.
But everything that followed first wave feminism has actually backfired in many ways. And one of the ways it has backfired is hookup culture. Feminism grew substantially in the 1960s along with the sexual revolution, with feminists arguing that a woman should have complete control over her own body. The sexual revolution was successful in changing societal norms and casual sex became socially acceptable. Also at this time in the 1960s, the pill became available, which further allowed women to separate procreation from sex. Over the decades, the effects of the sexual revolution have only amplified, and it has had a negative effect on modern dating and culture as a whole. Because casual sex has become the norm, many women who are looking for committed relationships with men are having a hard time in the dating pool because a significant portion of men are only interested in casual sex. Surprise, surprise, I'm not saying anything new.
I want you. I want to get to know you. I like you. No, you don't! You just want to touch my private parts! This is not a petting zoo!
In a Pew Research poll about online dating, 13% of women said they use dating apps to find a partner for casual sex, while 31% of men said they use it for the same reason. I still feel like 31% is low, but okay.
A damn liar, man. That's not true.
Despite the hippies in the 60s fighting for women to be free to be the hoes they've always aspired to be, it's not quite working out the way they thought. Since the sexual revolution in the 1960s, women's happiness over the decades has actually been declining. Economists Betsy Stevenson and Justin Wolfers analyzed the happiness trends of Americans and Europeans between 1970 and 2005, and they found a surprising result. Women rated their overall life satisfaction higher than men in the 1970s. Thereafter, women's happiness scores have decreased, while men's scores have stayed roughly stable. By the 1990s, women were less happy than men, and this largely has to do with the change in gender roles as a result of feminism, but more on that later. In terms of hookup culture, many women are unhappy with how casual sex has ruined dating. Many women find themselves in situationships rather than relationships. And for those of you who are not familiar with a situationship, it's essentially when two people are in a relationship without the title of a relationship. They will go on dates, they may meet each other's friends and families, but they don't actually give each other the title of boyfriend or girlfriend because deep down, at least one of them in a situationship still wants to sleep with other people. And if one of them tries to make it official, that is usually when the situationship ends because a committed relationship was never the end goal for at least one of the people in the situationship.
So I actually have a question.
What?
Why are we?
Why are we?
Yeah, you know, we've been talking for a while.
I know, 3 years. I told you already, though.
I know, but just like 3 years is a bit long.
Look, you're mine, and I'm yours, but you're not mine yet, because I haven't asked you out yet. Does that make sense?
No.
Yeah, me neither. It doesn't make sense.
Hookup culture also puts men and women at a greater risk for STIs, unplanned pregnancies, as well as emotional effects. Yes, hookup culture has emotional effects on men and women.
Here's why hookup culture is probably not the best thing for your heart or your soul. Whenever we have sex with someone, we're creating this chemical called oxytocin, and oxytocin helps us to bond with people. So even when you think that you're having sex with someone just for the fun of it, what you're doing is bonding with them. And there's been studies that show that people that grew up in the hookup culture have something called bonding ruptures. And so what that means is you bond with someone and then you rupture. You bond with someone and then you rupture, meaning that you're creating these bonds and then tearing them apart by not continuing the relationship. Oftentimes people are going through heartbreak and they don't really realize it. And then the part about your soul is the house of your emotions. You're dysregulating yourself and dysregulating your emotions when you're doing this bonded rupture.
Another unintentional consequence that modern day feminism has had on dating is the change in gender roles. Prior to feminism, couples in traditional households often had a stay-at-home wife that tended to the home and children while the husband worked to support the family. However, with the success of the feminist movement, a large wave of married women entered the workforce along with their male counterparts while still taking responsibility for a large portion of the childcare and home responsibilities.
I think feminism is the worst thing that ever happened to women. Our job used to be no job. We had it so good. We could have done the smart thing, which would have been to continue playing dumb for the next century. And then all these women had to show off and be like, we could do it. We could do anything. Bitch, shut up. Don't tell them the secrets.
As a result of this change in gender roles, the independent woman trope was eventually born, and in recent years, the syndrome. And many men have heard this message loud and clear.
Like, I hear women say this all the time. I know a lot of you sisters be like, chivalry is dead. Don't you? Don't y'all feel that way? Like men aren't gentlemen anymore? That's right. Chivalry is dead, and women killed it.
Morgan Stanley predicts that 45% of women between ages 25 and 44 will be single and childless by the time 2030 rolls around. And for many women, this is great. Research shows that women who have never been married and have no children tend to be happier than men who have never been married and have no children. Just ask Chelsea Handler.
Guess what? I just woke up and it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I get to sleep to however late I feel like it because I don't have any f***ing children.
Men benefit from marriage because they calm down, they become less inclined to take risks, they tend to earn more money when married, they tend to be healthier and live longer when married. Men thrive in marriage more often than women do. The idea of having to work full time and still be responsible for raising children is losing its appeal with many women. And we have seen this reflected in the birth rates, which have been steadily declining in developed countries around the world.
Feminism in Korea is at another level, and they have channeled this energy of going against the patriarchy into simply just not partaking in their womanliness within the society, in some ways going as extreme as wanting to kill men. The level of feminism can be best represented by the 4P movement, not B as in the letter B, but the term P, which means to be against or not. First, starting with P hon, which means no marriage, P yone, which means no dating, P 출산, no kids, and P sex, which means no sex.
And many economists see this as a concern because we are currently below replacement level. But what is the solution? Going back to traditional gender roles where women stay at home and men go to work is not feasible for most people because the cost of living is so high that most households need 2 incomes to survive. And childcare is expensive.
I only have like $3.50, so it's hard. Super hard.
If women are going to be incentivized to get married and have children, there needs to be more economic support for families. Otherwise, birth rates will continue to decline. Another way that feminism has unintentionally ruined dating is the hashtag #MeToo movement and the rise of women oversharing on TikTok, like this psycho woman.
I am alone with my son, by myself, a woman, and a male approached me in a parking lot. He's, excuse me, miss, and I don't know why in the hell he was approaching me or what he was trying to do. And before he was probably 30 feet from me when he said, excuse me, ma'am. And I turned around and I literally yelled at him and I said, do not approach me. And he immediately started going in the other direction. And I just kept saying it over and over and over. I said, do not approach me. Do not approach me. And I said, you do not approach women in a parking lot. I just kept saying, do not approach me.
Many men have said they are now afraid to approach women because they don't want to be accused of harassment or be called a creep. And a few months ago, there was a little bit of a back and forth between YouTuber Michelle McDaniel and Abba and Preach over this topic. Michelle had made a video commenting on women filming themselves in the gym and exposing men for looking at them. And many men in the comments of Michelle's video said, this is why they don't approach women anymore. And so Michelle made a video where she responded to her commenters, and her response was that from her own experience, this isn't true. She hadn't noticed a decrease in the amount of men who approach her. And so Abba and Preach responded to Michelle, and this is a clip from their response video.
I have not noticed a decrease
in the men coming up to Michelle section of my life. In fact, I've noticed an increase. And I personally would think that it would be decreased with the amount of men saying, we're just not going up to women anymore.
Okay, this is like people saying it's snowing where I am because it's snowing where I am, global warming doesn't exist. What are you talking about? Just because you don't see it as a hyper attractive woman, you kind of look good. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not actually happening. You have to think, what are the stats out right now? How many people are actually checking out of dating? If you look at all the studies, men as a whole have been checking out of dating in large numbers. In fact, this has been one of the most recent findings. What is it? 69% of men report being single, where only 34% of women report being single. It was like 51% of men say they lost all interest in dating altogether, in large part because it feels unwelcoming, because they feel like, so it doesn't matter what your personal experience is, even if you want to go off of that. What the numbers show is that men as a whole have been approaching a lot less. And the very few times that they do choose to do so, they just do it on online dating.
The statistic that Abba mentioned is from a Pew Research poll, which found that 63% of men under age 30 describe themselves as single, compared to only 34% of women in the same age bracket describing themselves as single. At first glance, that math makes no sense. If all of these women are in relationships and the men aren't, who are the women dating? Each other?
Our top winner in the showcase is gay.
If I had to guess, I would bet that a significant amount of women under 30 are in situationships. So in their mind, it's a relationship, but in the guy's mind, it ain't. But also, it's likely that a significant portion of women under age 30 are dating older men because on average, older men tend to be more financially established than men below age 30. And women tend to be hypergamous, meaning they prefer to date men of higher socioeconomic status.
A lot of guys are struggling because women have higher standards now, and male attention is worth nothing nowadays.
So in other words, the dating sites made the rich richer, the poor poorer.
Yes.
It's like stimulus checks. Interesting.
A lot of guys don't even know what they're up against in the current dating marketplace as to like why it's so competitive. So what I've always said, like feminism, what it's inadvertently done, it's actually given all the leverage to the top 5% of men. Yeah. Because what happens is woman gets her own career, makes more money, becomes successful. Well, now a large pool of candidates that would have been a great husband and or potential boyfriend, this guy doesn't make
the hypergamy factor. Yeah, they want to date their equal or above.
Exactly, right? So we know women on a balanced probabilities do not date below their socioeconomic status. They want to date at least bare minimum where they're at, or preferably above. So as women make more money, become more successful, now their pool of men drops down with it, and they want to date up. So it's given the leverage inadvertently to a lot of the higher status men.
Regardless of what the story is behind those statistics, there is a large amount of men under age 30 who are not in relationships. And it is true that many men are no longer interested in pursuing women. And there is no shortage of women who take to TikTok to complain about this.
For the guys, I have this conversation with my female friends, I think like, I'm not even kidding, once a week. But most of my girlfriends say that whenever they're out, they never get approached by guys.
How I feel after going out in public and getting zero compliments, zero people approaching me, zero people asking me for my number when this is a known thing for girls to experience. Y'all, I could not relate more. Like, I swear, not even the construction workers want me. Like, I could walk in New York by a construction site. Nobody would say anything. I know this isn't something that you should want, but after a while, it's like, damn.
Men feeling disaffected has become such a pervasive problem that movements like the Passport Bros, Big Towel, Red Pill have all been born, which focused on men's issues in society and in the dating sphere. And as toxic as some of the people in those communities can be, I understand why they exist. Anyways, that's all I have for this video. I would like to hear what you guys think. Whatever your thoughts, please let me know in the comment section down below. If you liked this video, please don't forget to hit the like button. If you are not yet subscribed, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I'm on the road to 100,000 subscribers, and I would really like to get there this year. If you'd like to find me on other social media platforms, you can find me on Instagram. I also have a Patreon account for those of you who would like to support me monetarily. And thank you to the small group of you who are supporting me on Patreon. I appreciate it so much. If you like this video and you would like to see more like it, I will have 2 more videos linked for you in the end cards. A special thanks to Paired for sponsoring this video. Take care. Bye.
Welcome back to the comment section. I'm Brett Cooper. So I feel like every time a new Welcome back to the comment section. I'm Brett Cooper. So I feel like every time a new Marvel or Marvel adjacent movie comes out, we just have to make an episode because something goes wrong that we have to discuss. And the new Madam Web with Dakota Johnson and Sydney Sweeney is no exception. I mean, that is when you know that it is really bad. When Sydney Sweeney and her assets and her fan base cannot even save a movie. We're going to talk about that today. Before we do, though, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you've not already, and ring that notification bell so that you never miss a comment section or Friday live stream. All right, so for copyright reasons, I cannot show you the full trailer for Madam Web, but go pause this, go watch it, and then come back. People have hated it from the get-go. I mean, look at this ratio on YouTube. It is so terrible, but also so glorious because it is so bad. Somebody commented and said, I love the low-budget aesthetic. It is stunning and brave of the film executives and producers to make a feature-length film look like a CW special. Thank you, Sony Pictures, for warning me ahead of time before considering wasting my gas and purchasing a ticket to go see this. Somebody else said, my brother was in a coma for 15 years. He woke up and turned this off. Thank you so much. It's literally how bad it is. Another person commented on YouTube and said, you don't need to see the future to know how well this movie is going to do. Thankfully, we do not need to speculate anymore because the movie has come out, and like I said, it absolutely tanked. So Madam Web was made in conjunction with Sony. I don't exactly know if you guys can explain this to me in the comments. I don't exactly know the agreement between Marvel and Sony because Sony has their own line of Spider-Man movies, but then Marvel also does some Spider-Man movies, I believe. So it's not Marvel, but it's made in conjunction with Marvel, but then Sony Pictures distributes it. I don't know if it's going to go on Disney Plus. I have no idea. There's some kind of relationship there. You guys can explain it to me. I'm sure you all know.
I will drink until next morning. Thank you.
It was released on Valentine's Day to absolutely terrible ratings, and it has only gotten worse. I think when it first came out on Valentine's Day, it had like a 21% on Rotten Tomatoes. It has 14% now, and it has a 3 out of 10 on IMDb. And on its first day in theaters, guys, it made a whopping $6 million. Now, it's estimated that over the President's Day holiday weekend, it'll creep up to maybe 20 or 30 million, but in order for it to be considered a box office success, it would need to gross $200 million. So we'll see how that goes. I do not have high hopes. I hope those people are crossing their fingers and their toes. And if these estimates are right, Madam Web would not only be the lowest grossing movie in the Sony Spider-Man universe, but it would also be the lowest grossing Marvel movie of all time. And I feel like I've said that so many times now. Like every time a new superhero movie comes out, I'm like, that's the lowest of the lows, guys. Like the Marvels came out in November and I was like, this is so bad. It only made X amount of money. I think it only made $200 million at the box office, but their budget was $274 million. So I don't even know if they broke even at all, but it's so terrible. But this one is the worst. Great job, Hollywood. You are seriously crushing it. You know what audiences want.
Crushing it.
And I cannot tell you guys how terrible people think this movie is. The Rolling Stones even called it the Cats of superhero movies. Like that is possibly the worst criticism that you could give a movie, because that Cats movie, the musical one with Taylor Swift, that quite honestly was like a drug-induced fever dream for everybody who watched it.
It's like if Coffee and Nightmares had a baby.
Anyway, somebody tweeted and said, yeah, Madam Web is somehow worse than you feared. One of the worst movies ever made in any genre. Story makes absolutely no sense. The action is boring with barely any cape stuff. Dakota Johnson looks as bored as you'll feel. It makes Morbius look like the Dark Knight. I seriously cannot wait for Scheller to do a reaction to this movie because I know he will. If you guys are new to my channel, Scheller is my former producer. He used to be on the show all the time. He now has a movie review channel. It's called Hard Cut. He is going to absolutely rip into this, and I cannot wait. Somebody else tweeted and said, Madam Web might be the closest thing we get as a spiritual successor to 04's Catwoman. Maybe one of the most baffling films I've ever gotten to witness, filled with characters so uninteresting, an overabundance of eye-rolling dialogue, and editing so nauseating, I was in awe. Like, these tweets are not just I didn't like the movie, it sucked. They despised it because it was so bad. Speaking of the editing, you have to watch this exclusive clip that Sony released. This was released by the production before the movie came out. They were like, ooh, this is gonna get people going. This was the exclusive clip. Dakota Johnson running to a car, getting in the car.
Hi, sir. All right, I'm gonna cut your...
Watch it again. She's running. She's just gotten in. And then it cuts to her already being under the car. How does that make sense? That is apparently in the first scene They were like, yep, this is it. We're going to show this to everybody. They're going to love it. This is going to really rope people in the first 5 minutes of this film. Like, are you kidding me? That's the best clip you had to release, please. Somebody else tweeted and said, Madam Web is an embarrassing mess. Talented stars wasted on probably the worst comic book movie I've ever seen, filled with atrocious dialogue, awkward editing, and all-around laughable structure. I sat there baffled, scene by scene, that somebody approved this. The memes will redeem it. And they certainly will. That is the one good thing to come out of Madam Web. If you thought that the Morbius memes were out of control, that they were good, you have not been on Twitter in the last 48 hours. Madam Web is getting so much press for being so undescribably bad, like it's getting press for all the wrong reasons, that this movie might actually become some campy cult classic. And that's what Vox wrote last night. They waited to write anything about Madam Web. They dropped in some little feminist things, but they were like, just wait 20 years. It'll be super popular. This is a campy cult classic. I think that they're just trying to jump ahead of things, but I truly do believe, because of the response online, that it could become that. It's the one time you'll ever hear me agree with Vox. In that vein, somebody tweeted and said, Madam Web is the movie I've waited for all my life. I laughed. I cried. I cheered like hell. Was it good? Not at all. It was awful, and at times it genuinely angered me. But this latest Sonyverse adventure shows that there is still some life in the movies. Marvel is saving cinema. Is it? Somebody else said, I will say there are Spider-Man things in Madam Web that will make passionate Spidey fans howl with laughter. Web has the potential to reach the room levels of appreciation. I'd absolutely watch it again in a theater full of people just to laugh along with them. Now, if you don't know, The Room, this is not the Brie Larson movie. It is far more famous than the Brie Larson movie, in my opinion, but it is often thought of as the worst movie of all time. And because of that, it is now wildly famous. It's infamous. It has this huge cult following, a huge fan base, and there's even a fantastic movie called The Disaster Artist about the making of that terrible movie. But the whole thing is hysterical. The timeline is wild. I could completely see that happening with Madam Web. Maybe we'll
Y'all know we on a roll, y'all. We on a roll. Theories on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube that are going to make us question reality, rethink life, look at some stuff differently and from a different perspective. Shout out to everyone that has sent in videos. Again, if you want your video featured on here along with the shout out, please add the Discord. The link is in the description down below. First shout out goes to AH. Thank you for sending in this video.
Before signing up, you boys ought to try a little taste of Dr. Ism's formula to see what you'd get in exchange for your freedom. Go ahead, try it.
You can't do this to me! I'll strike!
The state forbids strikes.
Wait till the union hears about this!
Ah, yes, the union. Welcome to our ranks, number 1313.
I'll take this case to the Supreme Court.
The state is the Supreme Court. Our decision is as follows. No more private property. No more you.
No more you.
And the farm folks will put a stop to this.
Farmers don't vote anymore.
What'll they do for seed next year?
You won't have to worry about next year. The state will do your planning from now on.
Wow.
We must fight to regain our freedom, or everything is lost. Everything.
Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine.
When anybody preaches disunity, tries to pit one of us against the other through class warfare, race hatred, or religious intolerance, you know that person seeks to rob us of our freedom and destroy our very lives. And we know what to do about it.
Now, gentlemen, no violence, please. Don't throw those bottles. Don't throw those bottles. No.
That was made 60 years ago. If anybody in here knows what movie or show that was, please drop that in the comments below, because I actually would like to see that on my own time. I'll put this one in the chat.
Everybody knows something's up. Everybody knows. That is not normal. Everyone is looking up, wondering why the sky is split.
That's weird.
Sky is broken.
Everybody looking.
And everybody knows something's fishy, don't you? It's fishy, ain't it?
You know, that's the first time I ever seen this.
That's right.
It's fishy.
Thank you, Promo, for the video.
The Statue of Liberty need to be destroyed. This was supposed to be the original version of the Statue of Liberty to signify the abolishment of slavery. But I guess this wasn't American enough for them. So they gave us this piece of the world we live in, Italy. No.
For the video.
All right, what you're seeing behind me are active wildfires as identified by satellite. Now this is on Weather Underground. You can go, you can set the layers, and you can choose to pull this up. Now I saw this video going on TikTok of this girl going through this.
Dang!
Showing the world burning. And I had to go check for myself because I just wanted to verify and make sure. And it was true. All of what you're seeing here are active fires happening presently. And look at Europe. I mean, I've never seen this before. This amount of activity. This is all climate change, right? I mean, look at Africa.
It's everywhere. Dang, they got it the most.
Are they okay? Really? Because that is insane. And just wait, we're going to go over to South America next. We're going to take a little hop over the pond. And look at that. I'm sorry, this just doesn't seem normal to me. What do you think?
That's a nice camera. What is that? Ew! DeAndre said, the Most High told y'all about that swine. Praying over it don't make it better. Now, what? Did you see those parasites or worms in the... Praying over it don't make it no better. Shout out to Ganola Akiba for the video.
You know what plantation they've never shown us, Abby? The most prominent ones. The ones that were most profitable. The breeding plantations. Why don't you want to show us those? You know why? Because after the research that I did for this album, you realize that the moment that a girl menstruated, she was put in a stable where a horse would be and forcibly mated. Forcibly by a male of the slave master's choice.
You're kidding me.
And when she had children, they weren't called children, they were called a litter of pups. The punishment or killing a person in medieval Spain is gelding. Gelding is when you take hot pincers and you take a man's stem. Killing a person, law of the Bible, right? Medieval Spain, super religious. You killed a man, he should be killed. Why were indigenous and black people categorized as subhuman? So under the law, you would not be punished for the things that you did to us. That's why. You used to be proud, right? You used to be proud, white America, of murder. You used to be proud of colonization. You used to, wow, that made us tough. And then you got ashamed of it. And that's what you're dealing with. That's what America's dealing with, a schizophrenic crisis. There's a British manual, right, that was taken out of the British Museum because within the manual, it talked about how it was a weapon of war that should be used against the indigenous population. You're ashamed of that now. You're ashamed, right? Who was Christopher Columbus? His image has been so whitewashed, but he was trafficking little girls on an island. Who does that sound like, huh? All you right-wing defenders of Christopher Columbus and his legacy? He was trafficking 9-year-old indigenous girls on an island. Who does that remind you of, you intellectual coward? Just because liberals are dog doesn't mean that you shake hands with the devil. right? The same way I tell people all the time who are white working class people who hear about reparations for black people and automatically get upset. You know, they hear the word Africa and they're furious already. But the problem is this. The money doesn't come from you. No, it comes from the financial institutions that banked and built their stock exchange on labor, on the payback that they got from slavery. Because reparations is not actually what African people are asking for in this country. African American people are asking for the other half of reparations. You see, America already paid reparations at the end of the Civil War to slave owners. They gave them money per black person that they let free. And they refused to honor the people that were actually victimized. So until you do that, you will always be cursed, America. And you can call me a communist, a socialist, but you know what?
You'll always be cursed.
It doesn't matter what you call me. You know that I'm right.
That's deep.
Right? And you know that I stand more for indigenous rights than I do for the European interpretation of a left-wing ideology that doesn't always work in a cookie-cutter scenario when you plug it into Latin America. Because at the end of the day, that was still being pushed by two large governmental entities that wanted to challenge the United States' control of the region. We're tired of being pawns.
Christopher Columbus, is that the same dude that we get a day off? Like, everybody get it off from like work and school and stuff? That's why? Because he was taking 9-year-old. Okay, all right now. And then 2, America gave reparations to the slave owners and not the slaves. Did I hear that right? They gave reparations to the slave owners and not the slaves.
Did you know that if you see an ant in your home, the last thing you should do is smush it? And here's why. Last summer, I had an ant in my apartment. I killed it. I just smashed it with my shoe. An hour later,
I just want to know why she filmed that there was an ant in her apartment. She literally, look, if there's an ant, I'm just gonna kill it. I'm not gonna take my phone out, wrong way. I'm not gonna take my phone out, click the camera, and then record that there's an ant and zoom in on the floor that there's an ant on my floor. But I'm just making jokes here, but it's just funny how she really recorded that. But yeah, because usually what I do is if I see an ant, you're not gonna live in my house or my mom's house, 'cause it ain't my house, but you get what I'm saying. So let's hear why we shouldn't do that.
apartment, I killed it. I just smashed it with my shoe. An hour later, I had a ton of ants in my apartment, and I'm over here like smashing all of them with my shoes. As the sun started to go down, I saw more ants than I've seen in my entire life, and they were literally forming a line from my balcony all the way to my front door. They weren't sugar ants. I finally got maintenance to come get rid of them because I was like, how do I exterminate an ant? And they vacuumed them up, and there was some spray. But I found out when you smush an ant, it lets off these little pheromones that tell all their little ant friends to come find them and I guess get their body and bring them back to their tribe, mountain, whatever it's called. I'm not an ant expert. I don't know where these ants came from. If you smash an ant, it will attract way more ants, even if you're really high up in a high-rise building.
It don't matter.
Lesson learned, don't smush an ant, ever. Pass this on to a friend because I literally had no idea.
I believe that. Because there's been times where I have, you know, smashed some ants and more pop up. There's been a time where I smashed one and I seen the ants come. Like, they'll come out of nowhere. They'll come and then they'll come get the body and leave. But I didn't think nothing of it, but now it makes sense. So if something go off, it's like a siren for the ants. And then they come get them. But I think my question is, what happens after they get them? Like, do y'all do like a funeral ceremony, or can y'all revive the ant? Or I just want to know the second step to after the smushing of the ant. Why am I asking like I'm gonna get answers from an ant? What made him guess that that wasn't the real thing? How do you know?
Crazy.
Where do you buy that?
Just their card here. Yeah, better check with your account. Skimmers at gas stations.
No, that's a real question. First of all, how did he know that that was fake? Second of all, where you go to buy that? Asking for a friend. I'm just playing. I'm playing because I don't want nobody taking me serious. I'm really playing. I would never do that. I'm a daughter of Yahuwah. It's a lot of things I can't do even if nobody's watching. You gotta walk in integrity with this stuff. And then 3, is so many people typing in their pins. How do you know whose pin goes to what? This technology stuff is out of hand, but I need answers. So if the scammers, this is y'all time to shine. I need y'all in the comment section to let me know what we just witnessed, if y'all bold enough. Thank you, Retro, for the video.
Beyonce and Jay-Z's daughter, Blue Ivy Carter, has had insane conspiracy theories started about her since the day she was born. But here's the #1 craziest theory. Craziest conspiracy theory about Blue Ivy is that she is the next ruler of the Illuminati and the world after Beyonce retires, and she's this demonic protege.
Her birthday just passed.
Of course, there's a conspiracy theory that Beyonce never even birthed her, and the whole pregnancy was fake, and she just spawned from the underworld. And people were so afraid of her arrival that churches put out signs that said Beyonce had her baby, Satan is on Earth. Lots of people think Blue Ivy is such a random name, but conspirize that the name actually stands for Born Living Under Evil, Illuminati's very youngest, because she was the youngest person to ever be inducted into the cult. And then she did what everyone was afraid of, which is showing her allegiance to the Illuminati and flashing the Illuminati symbol, making Beyonce so proud. Look at my little Illuminati baby.
That's her, like, her signature move.
Very known for flashing that sign, and people say they're teaching her to flash other symbols just like her parents. Beyonce is purposely pushing her out to the public in music videos, red carpets, being the youngest Grammy winner ever so she can one day have the most influence in the world and take over Beyonce's spot. And the imagery is definitely there for that, maybe portraying Blue Ivy being the new ruler and her leading the twins. There's a whole bunch of conspiracy theories about them already that I can get to. Before I say the craziest part, make sure you follow so you finally know the craziest conspiracy theories about all your favorite celebrities and request who you want to see next. The craziest part is that conspirators claim that her name spelled backwards, Elub Yivai, could translate to the Latin phrase for daughter of Satan.
Oh, that's deep.
Something really scary is going on with Doja Cat right now, and it's caused so many conspiracy theories to get started, but all of those theories can be debunked by the simple fact that Doja Cat is playing a character, Scarlet, all to get your attention. Scarlet is the name of Doja Cat's new album and her new tour, and right when this era began, Doja Cat started donning this red, evil appearance and saying things to her fans like, leave a comment oozing with jealousy, insecurity, or malice below. Your protesting is only support. And as we know, Doja has been downright bullying her fans, so the biggest conspiracy theory right now is that people think that Doja Cat wants out of the music industry and out of her contract.
I'm not your friend. I'm not your friend.
And by pushing away all her fans, she could expedite her contract. But that's not true, because if Doja really wanted out of her contract, she would make music that she doesn't believe in and doesn't perform well because her label wouldn't make any money. But her new song, Paint the Town Red, is doing very well. And in that song, she admits she still wants to be famous. She just doesn't need fans, but she needs attention.
I don't need a new fan cause my boo like it. Fame ain't something that I need no more cause I said what I said. I'd rather be famous instead.
She wants you to love or hate her.
My happiness is all of your misery.
She's only happy with your misery because it's getting her attention. The second theory is that did Doja Cat join the Illuminati and that's why she's acting so evil and demonic? Because even on the cover art of her new single, the A is upside down so it looks like a devil and his horns, but it's actually specifically the A that's upside down because it's an upside down scarlet letter. It's becoming clear that Doja Cat crafted this image of Scarlet to represent the old tale of having a scarlet letter, or basically a woman who was shamed for going against societal norms. And Doja has been judged and canceled for a whole long list of things in the last 4 years. I think Doja Cat got sick of 4 years of fame and scrutiny by society, so this Scarlet character is the overdramatic version of her that she's using to give a middle finger back to society that judged her. So now she's acting like the devil that society has made her out to be all these years and doing the exact opposite of what society would want. So she's being a rebel, hence the chorus of the song.
She the devil, she a rebel, she put her foot to the pedal.
I have a question. Does the music video have anything to do with the lyrics? And then what throws me off is that she was already up there in the entertainment industry, meaning she didn't have to do none of that stuff. Mind you, y'all know, well, Doja Cat has some stuff, but how I found her was the Move song. You know, the cow song that she had. That's how I knew Doja Cat. And my cousin vouched. My cousin was like, I know you think that she can't rap or whatever the case is, but I promise you she makes good music or whatever the case. I don't think I ever went to, I don't know. And I think I started hearing some stuff on TikTok. I was like, oh, okay, her bars be boring. Oh, I see what my cousin talk about. Shout out to Ray Jean, by the way. Shout out to you if you watch, and I truly appreciate you. Thank you for all the support and stuff. But I'm like, you already up there is what I'm trying to say. Like, you good. But I guess it wasn't enough because now she's doing this crazy stuff. I'm like, what's going on? Like, attention is a drug. I don't know if she just wasn't getting it. I don't know if it was like, yeah, I got it, but I want more. Chasing after this flesh, you'll be chasing and never be satisfied. Because then when you get what you want, then it's something else. You'll forever, it will be a forever cycle with you getting stuff and then wanting something else. It'll be like this because your flesh is never satisfied. That's why we can't chase for the cares of this world. We can't chase anything in this world because I promise you when you get it, it's going to be something that's going to spark your eye and then now you're going to want that. I'm bringing all that back to say like the attention thing. I don't know. I'm just saying that Doja Cat was up there. I don't get what's the whole switcheroo. If you came into the
I also find it interesting that the main woman in this case, now stay with me,
What does she look like?
looks identical to Mrs. Doubtfire, Robin Williams, Mrs. Doubtfire.
Crazy.
I mean, to a T. If you guys were to see these two put together side by side, you would be blown away.
There's no coincidences.
And why do I say this? What does this matter? Why is it even important in this discussion? I believe that they put these things right in front of us in plain sight. And
Hey fam, welcome back to another video. Welcome back to another reaction. This is Segovia coming to you live from the man cave. Hope everyone out there had a good Friday. It's Friday, y'all. We made it. We made it. We finished the week strong. We're here. We got another damn good reaction. I got a banger today, y'all. I ain't even gonna lie. And I just want to say thank to everybody that hit that like button. It made my day, y'all. I needed it. It was a stressful video last week. I was hoping for 250. We got over 400 likes, y'all. Let's just keep it going, y'all. I'm done with the under 10,000 views, 2,000 here, 5,000 here, 2,000 back down. Let's get up. Let's hit that like button. Let's get up, y'all. It helps the algorithm, helps us small YouTube channels out big time. So I'd appreciate it if you guys hit that like again. But hey, you know my slogan, enough with the chit chat. Let's get into the reaction. All right, y'all. Hey, I'm going to be 100% with you guys. We got a banger today. Damn good compilation I put together over here. Let me know, can you guys notice a difference with my lighting? The stage light or the recording light finally came in. It looks clean. I like it. It's still not too bright, but it's enough. So let me know down below if you guys notice a difference in the quality, y'all. But hey, I got me a nice bubbly watermelon I'm gonna be sipping on through this reaction. Let me know what you guys are sipping on down below, even if it's just some water, y'all. Let me know what you're sipping on. So hey, let's get into the damn reaction.
The biggest lie of all, repeatedly and with no facts to back him up, making the outrageous claim that the so-called deep state spied on his campaign. He did it again today.
But I hope it's not true, but it looks like it is.
It's not true. It's a lie.
Did the intelligence community spy on President Trump and his campaign?
No, we did not.
This is not
That's
just
a
an
lie.
angry president popping off. This is a deliberate and coordinated effort to save his presidency, to cast doubt on the Russia investigation by repeating a lie, repeating it every chance he gets. And that repetition is a key part of the strategy here, because if you hear him say the same thing over and over and over, it gets into your head. You may even start to wonder if...
Concerning new report accusing President
Breaking
Obama's
news.
CIA of curating the 2016 Russia collusion hoax by asking foreign intelligence agencies to illegally spy on the Trump campaign.
John Brennan had identified 26 Trump associates for the Five Eyes to target. A source confirmed that the IC had identified them as people to bump or make contact with or manipulate. They were targets of our own IC and law enforcement, targets for collection and misinformation.
A lot of people still don't know about Operation.
For 4 years, they're all saying you're a liar, you're a liar, and look what comes out. Look what comes to the light. Look at the darkness that comes to the light. You know, everything. Whenever I see somebody getting hated on so much, like they hated on him, on Trump for 8 years, right? Even though he was only president for 4 years, they hated on him for 8 years. my spider senses start going. People don't hate like that for no reason. There's a reason, and it's coming out. Obama was spying on him.
Gladio at the end of World War II. There was a fear that Stalin was going to just go march all the way across Europe and take everything all the way to the Atlantic. So what they did was they buried caches of weapons and communication equipment all over Europe. Well, that never happened, and so all that stuff got used another different way. The CIA and MI6, what they did was use that equipment to sabotage, blow up buildings, assassinate people, and tell the public that it was done by socialists and communists.
Dubai is using drones to make artificial rain. With record temperatures hitting 120 degrees this past week, Dubai has turned to a new technology called cloud seeding in order to solve their problems. This process involves several drones being launched above the clouds, which then give off multiple electric shocks. This forces whatever clouds are around to clump together and rain down on the city. It may seem strange to intentionally flood your own streets, but the purpose of cloud seeding is to actually protect the country from extreme heat, which so far has been working out well.
What's in your bag?
In my bag?
That seems like the answer to global warming right there, right? Just make it rain. You got the technology. All you use is a drone. I mean, you got drones dropping a bunch of bombs daily. I'm sure it's cheaper to make some sparks and make it rain over here so we don't have all these crazy wildfires. Even though wildfires sometimes are good for the environment, right? The forest grows back a lot healthier. Circle of life, right? But still, some places that are in a drought, where I live, right? Make it rain a couple times a week. My plants and my grass would love it. You know what I mean?
Like shuffle, maybe. This is like.
Hey, the lighting looks good, y'all. I like it. I'm excited.
Please. Should I hold it for you and you can take things out?
Look at these weirdos. Look at them.
Like when she starts to cry. Like then when she's gonna pee, I don't know. Then when she's boring, she's boring.
Look at them. Look at these weirdos. I don't get it. Does this do something to the subconscious mind to people that are asleep that makes them want to go buy those clothes that they don't even realize? Because I could be a millionaire. You ain't going to catch me in none of those clothes. I don't like them. They're not clean, right? But I don't understand why people want all these clothes, and look at what they're doing. They're weird. They're weird people that are modeling these clothes.
Yeah, everything possible.
Look at them.
I remember being at what felt like an older, kind of almost Victorian type house.
Now this is crazy. The McMartin preschool case. I never heard about this. I went deep down the rabbit hole and found out about it. This is very interesting, and pay attention to the next clip. How they just throw things at us without us even realizing, right? Check it out.
I remember there being more than one teacher or adults, and I remember there being
Hit that like button.
multiple kids. And I have memories that this 3-year-old little girl was being made to stand in front of people and have pictures taken of her when she was naked.
I know my daughter was taken around in the community. I mean, she showed me places that she was taken to that I never took her to. She didn't have a driver's license. She was 2.5. So it had to be the teachers. I asked my daughter, how did they take you in and out of the school? And she said, through the tunnels. Like, I'm supposed to know.
Through the tunnels.
I remember being... I also find it interesting that the main...
Okay, before we get into this, let me know if this is accurate. I saw in a podcast clip, somebody was saying, when you drop your kids off at school, by law, you are not the guardian of your kids no more, right? If there's like, say there's a mass shooting, you can't go pick your kids up, right? They belong to the school. Is that true? I don't have kids, so I don't know, but I would like to know. That way, that day I do have kids. But I heard something, when you drop your kids off at school and they go behind those gates, you are no longer the guardian of your child no more.
Welcome back to the Red or Blue Pill channel, people. Thank you for coming back. If you knew, what we do is go through creepy TikToks that will make you question reality. Buckle up, because it's a Friday night special. Here we go.
Have you guys ever heard of Rock City? It's I've heard of a little bit about it, but it's way bigger than what I actually saw. Check it out.
Hey, I'm delivering here into these caves. Look what the sign says. 5 million square feet available. Is I'm dreaming? 5 million square feet under here? Hey, I'm in the cave, man. I'm actually delivering pizza crust. I'm actually delivering pizza crust. Weighs only 15,000 pounds. Light as hell. I'm about 40 miles from the house.
That is a lot of land underground. If you want a safe place to lease, then Joe copies? I bet you can't. What is that under there? What is going on? That is bonkers. They're all going underground. Going underground.
Yo. There's 7 billion people in the world. So when one of them behaves badly toward you, he's actually doing you a great favor because he's saving you time. He's telling you that he's not worth your while. He's freeing you to say, thank you for the information. I will now move on to the 6,999,999,999 other people, some of whom may have some value.
NASA knows where Leviathan is and doesn't want you to know. NASA was once a marine exploration organization from the late 50s to the early 70s. Much of what NASA did during these years remains classified and unknown. However, some fascinating files were recently disclosed by a former NASA employee, Michael Thomas, who leaked many classified NASA files, the most notable being called Operation Leviathan. So this was a special mission conducted between 1967 and 1969, and what the operation involves is terrifying. In 1967, NASA launched a new mission with the aim of actually finding the Leviathans. Despite the absurdity of their endeavor, only 5.5% of the oceans had been explored by 2024, and in the 60s, only 3% had been explored. So the possibility of finding a giant creature wasn't too far-fetched. On March 1st, 1967, they launched a specialized fleet of 11 research ships equipped with sonar technology, which was new at the time. Then, for over a year, these ships scoured the ocean looking for signs of Leviathan. And on August 12, 1968, they discovered something shocking. In a remote part of the Pacific Ocean, near the Mariana Trench, they picked up vibrations from a massive creature lurking far below the surface. Their sonar equipment estimated it to be some kind of giant sea serpent, living thousands of feet below the surface and measuring over 500 feet long. So they sent an unmanned submarine to check out the creature, and when they saw it, they were shocked. If you want to see it, follow me. Click on this icon, then on more, and on photos.
They teased us. They teased us on that one.
They are trying to hide what is really in the ocean. The end got me.
We hit some ice. Oh my God. Oh my God. Whoa. Oh. We hit some iceberg. We hit some ice. Oh my God. Oh my God.
In the sea, that's where it's all at, people. We have seen none of it. And I bet there's some unbelievable stuff underneath. That being just a snipping of what is actually going on under there. I need to get me a submarine.
So one of my beautiful TikTok family sent me this trippy ass video, and I want to share it with y'all. Check it out. Also, this is for entertainment purposes only.
Mind if I just check you out with my chip detector? Please. I'm sure this doctor was fantastic, but sometimes you'll get a chip that's implanted. Sometimes the doctor is under the control of the government. So far, so good. If it does detect a chip, what it does is it sucks a little bit of power from that chip in order to kind of make the light blink just the smallest amount. Oh my. I found something.
I found something.
So much for us having our freedom, huh? Yeah, we never had our freedom. This might appear to be intrusive, but it is entirely painless. There should be a little bit of clean removal. Right there. Whoa. Yeah, I see it. No pain? Not really. Oh, there we go.
Oh, that's so trippy. Kind of reminds me of that scene in The Matrix where they pull that out of Neo.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Hold out your hand. Check that baby out. Well, I'm not having surgery again anytime soon. Does it say something on it? Sometimes they say things. Bend Junction, Colorado. Does it say that? Yeah, that's where I had surgery. Son of a bitch.
Wow. Man. To let you know that this channel is not verified, so it's all for entertainment purposes only, people. Do your own research. But if that is true, I need to get myself a detector and check myself out, because that is bonkers. We're literally living in the Matrix.
Well, I shouldn't really get into that.
Get into it.
Get into
Come
it,
on.
Rattle.
We got to get into it.
Okay, well.
We've opened the door, sir.
Okay. Well, okay. But there are people who've been working on these things for decades now, basically in secret. In secret. And I've had the privilege of talking to some of these people over the last 6 or 7 years. And right now, as we're speaking, there's a group of people who are basically going to open source a whole lot of stuff in the next 3 months, so it can never get suppressed again. There's a laboratory right now in the Maldives that's been building prototypes using these technological principles, which are based on implosion rather than explosion. This is the work of Nikola Tesla. And he was, his work was suppressed. A lot of his patents were taken, sealed up by the U.S. government for whatever reason, I don't know. But this is some of the stuff that's now being...
I would like to just point out that it was a relative of Donald Trump, I believe, although that is the rumour, who got his hands on Tesla's technology. Interesting.
His ideas, plus some of the others. This is the man I've been talking to for the last 7 years.
Malcolm Bendall?
Yes. And again, I don't want to get into it today, but here's an example of what they're doing. This is a generator that has no moving parts. It's all based on geometry, pure geometry. And here's the basic idea, as I think I understand it at this point. Resonance frequencies. Everything vibrates. Have you ever, if we had an electric razor, we plugged it in, turned it on, set it on this table, it's going to move around, isn't it? You ever seen that?
Yeah.
That's the beginning of the concept, because it's vibrating. Everything vibrates at a frequency, and if you know that frequency, you can control things. And I think that's the basic idea of what we're looking at here.
Vibrations and frequencies, that's where it's all at. That is where it's all at, people. Need to do some studying into this.
Check this out, y'all. People in Chile are now painting their roofs blue because of the situation that happened to them a few days ago. They are not taking that chance, y'all.
Azul como el cielo azul. ¿Para qué? Para que proteja el techo azul como el cielo. Entonces, si el techo es azul, el cielo es azul, el malo no toca lo azul porque el azul es de Dios.
And I wouldn't blame him, because did you see? Look at the sky, y'all. That's crazy. It looks, that's, wow. You see the sun? How red that is? Hold on, y'all. Look at the sky again. What the hell is that, y'all? Is that another derecho? And again, that sun, man, this is intense, boy. That's judgment. Look at this. The people of Chile are not taking that chance, and they're painting their roofs blue, as is everybody else, honestly. Even people in Florida are doing this as well because they are afraid of what's to come.
There's definitely something to the blue colour. I'll give you an example. We've got two cups, one pink, one blue. The blue one, when you make tea, does not stain. The pink one has tea stains. So there's my scientific experiment right there. And it just shows the power of TikTok, because TikTok's got to be it. So this information of the blue isn't on the national media, is it? They're not giving out this information on TV, on news stations anywhere in the world. So the way you would get this information is from TikTok or social media of some type on these type of channels, and people are listening because it's there. You can see. You wouldn't see this years ago, but I think people are waking up. I really do.
This video is gonna fuck your head up, but I always told you that we are surrounded in our labels and our emblems with Saturn sun god worship, black cubes, even the Mercedes-Benz. Peep this shit.
Have you ever seen this before?
See the cube? It's a cube.
So,
it's a
the
cube.
Mercedes logo actually encodes a secret message. The message is, learn geometry. And you'll figure out why you need to learn geometry once you start learning geometry. But it reveals the architecture of reality. This reality.
Third dimensional worship.
Anyways.
That's what religion is.
But the back corner,
Materialism.
you see, the circle represents like the spirit or the immaterial world, the infinite world. Is the circle.
Facts.
And then the cube, or the square, represents the finite space, which is the earthly realm.
Third dimension.
The uniting of the two symbols, the earth and the above and the below, it's very elegantly put here, and it's done in a way that doesn't reveal the
Mercedes
adherence to certain mystical understandings. Probably wouldn't help selling cars because it's a little too complicated. Most people don't understand geometry. Never mind reality architecture. But yeah, that's what that is. And, I think that's even 137 degrees. But that's a whole other video.
Yeah.
And if you want to follow, I'll do another video on what that is. Again, it's geometry, but not three-dimensional geometry. This is two-dimensional geometry. So